So, communication, interaction with others, the interface between you and other people. One of the primary methods by which you form connections, meet your needs, help others meet their needs, express yourself. The interface between you and all of the beautiful minds around you. This is communication, even after the fact, my words, sharing my thoughts with you, mingling our thoughts and intentions. We will let go of some things and absorb other things, and my voice will be here to reassure and encourage you. The desire to communicate with greater deliberation, more mindfully and intentionally, is laudable and useful. It does not happen spontaneously, but is the product of intention and practice. Communication begins when you develop habits that make the fundamentals of communication more sure and compassionate. The first key thing to accept about improving your speech is to accept that you may want to intentionally focus on changing how you speak. This is a small and obvious thing, but it is the very beginning. The way in which you speak can be improved, can be changed, and the ways it changes can be deliberate and can be changed further based on learning how to change, learning how to be more aware, learning how to reflect more on your speech. The paths we adopt, especially in speech and communication, can become very, very enmeshed and laid into us, so that changing that all requires a level of deliberateness. The first exercise is deliberate acceptance of the practice of change. Accept that you can change your trajectory. You can change the way you do things. You can change your thoughts and approach. Accepting the possibility and the practice of change is essential and is the first step. The second exercise is perspective taking. To communicate with others, it can help to do your best to place yourself in their shoes. See it in yourself, the consideration you have for others, reflecting on your communication partner, their thoughts and experiences, and considering how they feel. Developing this capacity, pausing before speaking and thinking about the other person or people. Often, that act of thinking is enough to begin the process of more readily seeing others' trajectories, others' paths through their worlds and interaction with your own experience. This is a first step of speaking with deliberation, speaking to best communicate with the people in front of you, the people you want to communicate with. Think of your audience. Think of how your words will reach them. Think of what your words will add to their understanding, their well-being, their relationship with you and with others. Think of how your words can most effectively communicate your ideas to them. Think as best you can of who they are. We can never truly know someone else's life, thoughts, how they will understand our words. But with attention, by focusing on them and our desire for their well-being, on our desire for clear communication, we can become better and better at approaching how they might receive our words. So, this second exercise is deliberate perspective taking. Think about what it is like to be the person being communicated with, what it is like to be in other people's shoes. When someone does something you do not understand, or when your communication does not arrive in the way you wish it to, consider others. Consider how others feel. Place yourself in their situation as your first action, your reflexive, automatic response. This is the second exercise, thinking with intentionality of the experience of your conversation partners. The third exercise is listening. Cultivate listening. When someone is telling a story, even if they ignite your interest or make you want to share your own anecdote, focus instead on using the deliberate empathy and compassion I mentioned earlier, and listen intently, perhaps nodding along, truly dedicating your intention to their words, their experiences, their knowledge and understanding. Appreciating the person who is sharing with you. Appreciating the things they are choosing to communicate with your attention. When you feel like you absolutely must share some information, or when you have been sharing information for some time, try and keep track of whether you have been doing most of the speaking, and afford others a chance to speak. Be content that sometimes you will not be able to share all and every thought in your mind or every word you think of, and learn to let some of them fade away. Ones that you do not need to share, or when you learn in time to see when others are less enthused with the topic you have gone on into. Watch for others' reception. If you think you have been doing all of the talking, you are able and permitted to say, "Oh, sorry, I've been talking a lot, haven't I?" It is always safe to apologize, to check in with others. They will think you are being considerate because you are. Try this technique and do it deliberately, with an intention to make sure others feel heard and feel like you are able to let go of talking, to allow the conversational control to shift. Listening is more valuable than speaking. The fourth exercise is pausing. Pausing, reflecting, grounding in compassion. When we are mindful of our speech, we naturally slow down because we add a pause. The pause of reflection, the pause of deliberation. Pause before speaking to be mindful of your intentions. Is what you are saying helpful? Will this communication enrich the other person? Will this improve their day? Is this important information for them to know? Will this improve the relationship between you? Is what you are saying well intentioned? Is it impulsive? There is rarely a good reason to speak impulsively. Most of the time, if you feel a strong urge to say something, then it is not the right time to say it. It might be hurtful or hated or an unwise thing to say. If you feel a strong urge to speak, pause and examine your feelings. Be aware of what you are experiencing. Why do you have this strong urge? When we get caught up in emotion, we can get in our own way. We can act unwisely. We can cause harm to ourselves or others. When we pause, when we breathe, we can bring in space. We can put space between our impulses and our emotions. We can draw on our wisdom, on our thinking mind, rather than our reactive mind. We can know that we are speaking as our best selves and saying things that will help us and help others. Loving speech, nurturing speech. When we are speaking from compassion, we naturally slow down. When that is the dominant motive behind our speech, we aren't rushed by the urgency of motives or emotions, of anxiety, of insecurity, of anger, of any of the feelings that might push us, drive us, might rush our speech. Compassion is steady. Now, this does not always mean that your words should make others happy. Sometimes the truthful, compassionate, correct words to speak are not received well. But because you pause, because you reflect, because you are honest with yourself and grounded in your intentions, you know that they are the right words to say. We cannot control others. Be very intentional with your words. When you aren't driven by impulse or emotion, you have the freedom to sculpt your communication, to reflect, to truly move with intention, to reflect and turn your words over in your mind, to know that when you choose your words, they are a good and pure reflection of your will, of your highest desires, of your best intentions for yourself and for others. That they are words of well-being, that they are not words that deceive yourself or deceive others. If you examine your intentions and find that they are not good intentions, are not wholesome intentions, are not intentions that wish the best for you or for others, you can choose not to speak. Choosing not to speak is a powerful practice. It is okay to have unwholesome intentions. It is all right to be stirred to anger or to feel anxiety, or to feel a desire to show off or prove yourself. All of these things are normal human experiences. But by pausing before speaking, by examining your feelings, by exploring your intentions, you can choose when not to speak. You can choose to wait for a time when your mind is unclouded, and then maybe you will speak the thing, maybe you will not speak the thing. You can choose to wait for your mind to be unhurried. You can choose to wait for the right moment to speak, when you know you will speak with a clear mind, with the right intentions, and so know that you will choose the right words. Even when your intentions are pure, pausing, reflecting, can polish your intentions, can inject additional goodwill into your words. Pause and ground yourself. Pause and ground yourself in goodwill. Ground yourself in patience. Pause, reflect, ground. These are all useful things to try. Beginnings, practices that can grow slowly and become rich and full over time. And they develop the habit of working on your communication in a conscious way, bringing them all together. There are many resources on speech, and whenever you consider using one, consider improving, consider your recent results. It is all right, acceptable, and even encouraged to feel my words, my will, my approval, pushing you gently toward that improvement, giving permission and strength and intention to try. It is always best to try something in good faith. And when what you try is your own considerate improvement toward others, there is no more pleasant and compassionate goal. Accept this, know this. Feel it deeply in a way that resonates as this trance does, as my voice does. Listen to this when you need reassurance, and remember that you can practice on your own, feeling the push emerge from your mind to aid you in staying the course, trying things, and empathetically examining your behaviour. Open yourself to more mindful communication, to the deliberate consideration of others, the value of silence as part of communication, the ability to let things go as you allow others to shape the conversation, the empathy of considering others and your own well-being with a willingness to change and adapt, flexibility, a willingness to approach from various different angles. With these watchwords, these touchstones of communication in mind, think of my voice and my will supporting you. When it is difficult to consistently apply lessons, to explore other ways of improving speech, to mindfully examine the improvements you want to make, these words return to you and press you onward. Think of others. Leave space. Ground yourself in wishing well for yourself and others. Pause. Learn to let go of things. Learn when to not speak. Observe conversational tempo. Know that you have my support and that you are capable of doing more tomorrow than today, more the day after tomorrow, and more going onward, as long as you are mindful of your words, your intentions, not just for others, but also for yourself. Appreciate yourself. Appreciate your dedication to change. Appreciate that you are someone who desires to improve how you are in the world, for your sake and for everyone around you. Well done taking this first step.